You've probably heard her name in the circles of higher education, leadership, and educational reforms across Africa. But behind her credentials is a woman whose journey spans humble beginning to international boardrooms. 5 years ago, she joined us on this very platform, and her impact has since been growing powerfully. Today on Impact Stories, we shine the spotlight on a woman whose work continues to redefine what education can do. Her story begins after this short break. You're welcome back from the break. Our guest today is no stranger to the world of education and leadership. She's a professor, an author, a pioneer, the consultant president of Ghana's first accredited open university, and the founding vice chancellor of Accra Metropolitan University. As a founding dean of graduate studies at the University of Professional Studies, UPSA, she helped shape the academic path of thousands. And as a continental leader, she continues to drive conversations around access, equity, and excellence in African higher education. We are honored to have with us here today Professor Goski Alabi.
Thank you very much, my dear.
Thank you so much for talking to us. And I must really confess that it's an honor that I get to talk to you in person.
The privilege and pleasure is mine.
Thank you so much, and you look beautiful as always.
Just like you.
Ah, thank you. Okay, Prof, so you have mentioned in a number of speeches that you do not know why, but your childhood was quite different. Coming from a wealthy home, but living with your grandparents, hawking, and even to the extent of learning with lantern. I want to know today, have you found answers to that experiences?
Well, I presume that every individual has a destiny, and that destiny requires a life path. That life path, I believe, prepares us for the task that is ahead, and that is my understanding of my own path.
Okay, but Prof, you know, many a times when young people tend to have that kind of experience, they may have a perception that perhaps their parents love them very little compared to their siblings. Did that experience ever erupt that kind of feeling?
I wouldn't say so precisely. As humans, sometimes these feelings are natural. But generally, I enjoyed the environment in which I grew, because I recall that in 1978 or 9, I was taken to join my siblings in Kumasi, where my whole family lived at the time. My siblings attended the state experimental school. The older one was in the state experimental school at Kumasi, and the younger one was at Inshaisu Preparatory. Both were very high-end and prestigious schools. And I recalled that I was taken to join my elder sister at State Experimental. I enjoyed the school very much. But a year later, I was taken to join my younger sister in Inshaisu Preparatory, another, very high-profile school at the time. I did 2 years with them, but I wanted to come back to my grandparents in Nungwa.
Wow. I'm interested in knowing why.
I don't know why, but I feel that I found my connection and I found meaning in being with my grandparents, serving them and learning from them. So they brought me back.
Wow.
And I left my siblings, back there. And so I wouldn't say that at that point I felt I was missing out on anything. They enjoyed their degrees, They would study in the evening, and normally my father would have, the fun ice cream or Fanta or Coke, and that was the motivation. Once you finished your evening lessons and it was before bedtime, you could have it. I didn't have that, but I wanted to come back, and I came back actually.
Wow.
So I think that we are different individuals, and I like parents to understand that your children are never the same.
Yeah.
They have different personalities, they have different capabilities, they have different calling, and they have different destinies. And I believe one of the good things we can do is to give each child the room and the enabling environment to flourish in their own space, in their own capacities, and with their own identities. I mean, we shouldn't compare.
Yeah.
We are just unique people.
Yeah.
And I believe that our opportunity to express our individuality and to express our true meaning in life is very unique.
Yeah.
They can never be replicated, neither can they be repeated. We are just who we are, and the greatest achievement of life is to live and express our own lives and our own destinies.
Prof, so there's a general perception that children who grow up with their parents are spoiled. Would you say that growing up you over-pampered?
I don't think so. I think I had a good life. My parents were very good. My dad and my mom, they all played their unique roles in bringing us up. My mom typically training us to be the women that we are. My dad training us to be the career people, confident and assertive, people who could speak up in any situation, understanding that wisdom rules over intelligence, and that even when you are confident and assertive, it has to be measured by wisdom.
All right, thank you, Prof. Prof, today many know you as an educational leader, but then you started your career in the sciences. I want to know what drew you to study chemistry for your BA and food science for your MA.
Okay, so I studied a Bachelor of Science in Chemistry at the University of Cape Coast because I was very resolved by the age of 9 to study chemistry.
Wow.
Why? Because my father at the time would give us a lot of books to read. We started reading very early. We were not reading the normal books like, is it Mills and Boons and all of that our colleagues were reading. I recall by like 7, my father was giving me books by Norman Vincent Peale. On positive thinking and all of that. So I read quite a collection of Vincent Norman Peale's books. By the time I was 9, I had read quite a number of them.
Wow.
And so when I was 9, my father gave me a newspaper article that was about Margaret Thatcher. It was about, some kind of, let me say, profile or a little biography of Margaret Thatcher. And I read at the time that she did chemistry for the first degree, and then she went on to do law. And I just wanted to be like Margaret Thatcher.
Wow.
So I started studying her, reading about her. When I get the opportunity, watch documentaries, you know, about her. And so right from that time in 1979, I was very resolved. I want to do chemistry in the university, and I want to do law after that.
Wow.
So I can be like Margaret Thatcher. So yes, unlike many of my colleagues, I was very set in my mind at the time I was writing my common entrance that I was going to go to the university to do chemistry.
Wow.
And so I did science in secondary school. I did physics, chemistry, math, art math, you know, that kind of combination. And then I went to the A level and did physics, chemistry, math. And I went to the university and I did physics, chemistry, math, and majored in chemistry. So I graduated with a first degree in chemistry. That's what I wanted.
Wow. Prof, I must say it's quite fascinating because even with today, with the numerous advocates for women or girls in STEM, there are still very low numbers when it comes to women who enroll in STEM. But then back in those days, you had a strong passion for STEM. That's quite fascinating.
Yeah. I think I was influenced a lot by my dad because my dad also did physics, chemistry, math, and math. He used to call it FIMAMA all the time. I had FIMAMA. And so, yes, because he was a civil engineer, he schooled in tech, KNUST at the time. And so I think somehow he inspired me unconsciously or consciously. Yeah.
Fantastic. And you did mention that aside from your sciences, you had wanted to pursue law.
Yes.
Unless I missed that in your bio, you didn't pursue law. So what happened?
Well, I tried. So I wrote the law exams. I think after my master's in food science, I passed very well, as they told me. I was invited for the interview. I went for that interview at the law school. I remember very well because at that time I had a baby. And so I had gone with my baby for the law school interview. And then during the interview, they asked me, that was the last question, by the way, how are you related to Honorable Joshua Alabi? And then I said, he's my husband, with a very broad smile. I was happy because the interview was conducted in a very friendly, conducive environment. And so I was quite assured by the things they asked, the answers I gave, and what they told me about my performance in the exam. So I was very happy. I was confident that I was going to go to the law school. And then I came home and I told my husband about my experience. At that time, the NDC had lost elections. And he said to me, what did you tell them? I said, I told them you're my husband. And he said, 9 out of 10, you aren't going to enter the law school.
Whoa.
Yeah. Yeah. And I did not. I mean, it was a very, very, I would say it wasn't a very friendly political environment at the time.
Wow.
This was not too long after the NPP had won elections. And the country, even though was in a democratic dispensation, was quite polarized, if I would say. it was the days of APPP. Whenever you turned on the TV, you would hear, you hear talks about APPP, APPP-hoo-ha, and, all of that. And people were being chased to bring back cars for re-evaluation and all. It was
Wow.
It was a different political environment at the time. I think that it was because after a long period, that was the first transition from one party to the other. So there was a lot of euphoria, a lot of excitement, and probably that may have culminated in some excesses, if you ask me. But, well, after some time, it all normalized and we enjoyed the democratic dispensation.
Unfortunately, you had to pay the price.
I did pay the price, honestly, but maybe that was not my calling. Fortunately, by grace, I could not find expression of becoming a lawyer in my life. But my children have.
Oh,
Yes.
fantastic.
Yes.
I'm happy someone has realized the dream in the family.
Yes, my children have. And so I'm very thankful to God for that. Yeah. I have a daughter who is a lawyer and a son who is also a lawyer. Both are qualified lawyers in the UK and, also qualified here.
Fantastic.
My daughter is qualified in both jurisdictions, and my son, by grace, would be qualified in both jurisdictions soon.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
but he's already qualified
Wow.
in the UK.
I'm happy you brought in Professor Alabi into the conversation. You are married to quite an impactful and an influential man.
Yeah.
But I have scanned through a lot of places and I've never heard the love story. How did it begin?
I mean, it's a story I've told over and again.
Oh.
In life, we all meet our spouses. But I think, if you ask me, marriage, it's beyond just reproduction, or it's beyond just having children. I think marriage is a spiritual thing, and sometimes you never can tell who your soulmate is, or who God has prepared for you. And I found mine in him.
Wow.
At the right time.
Wow. Wow. Prof, so you worked in IPS. That's where your educational journey began?
No, my educational journey?
Yeah, academic
journey,
yeah.
yes.
Yes, now UPSC, where your husband worked. I'd like to know if there was ever any clash in terms of your leadership mandate.
Sometimes there are, disagreements. Because as individuals, we have our own value systems, and we have our own ideologies. We have our own principles. And therefore, we don't agree on everything. Yes, there were several times that we didn't agree on some things. But we learned to kind of come to some form of understanding each time there is a disagreement. Yes, so in our professional interactions, there were quite a number of times that we had disagreements. For example, I recalled that when I proposed the change of name from IPS to the University of Professional Studies at the time, I mean officially at academic board, even though we've had that discussion at home and we had some, disagreements about that, I thought that once we got to academic board, there was going to be some kind of understanding. But we opposed each other at the academic board on that matter.
Wow.
Yeah. And the first time I lost.
Oh.
But, I didn't give up, and that's me. When I decide to do something, I don't give up. I find a way to do it.
Okay.
And I went back, and this time it was approved. So we had to work on it together.
Wow.
And we did, he led that process. I did not. He did lead the process. Yeah.
Wow. And I must say today, UPSA is a household name.
Yeah.
And it's a very good one.
Yes,
so we are very grateful to you
Yeah.
for that suggestion.
Yeah.
Now, Prof, you have won numerous awards, and one of such being the Africa's Most Respected CEO Award in Tertiary Education, among many others. We'll take a quick break, and once we are back from the break, Prof will tell us what these recognition mean to her. You're welcome back from the break, and this is Impact Stories. If you missed the first phase of this interview, we are talking to Professor Goski Alabi, and she has an inspiring story that you better take a seat and enjoy. Before we went for the break, Prof was just going to tell us about what these recognition, the numerous awards you have won, mean to you.
I think that somehow they make me reflect. They are humbling, to be honest. Each time I'm on it, it reminds me that people are watching.
Yeah.
And therefore, I need to do better than what I have done in the past. So they inspire me to do better and to make sure that I'm contributing well enough to make significance. I mean, it tells me that the key thing about recognition is service with significance. You can serve, but when people do not feel the significance of what you do, it may not be recognized.
Yeah.
And so I'm always guided by service with significance each time I receive an award.
Wow. Well, now, Prof, since your last appearance on the show, we had done quite an extensive work on your life's journey. But in the last 5 years, what have we missed?
In the last 5 years, I think that firstly, the Lawa University College received a presidential charter and became Accra Metropolitan University, the first of its kind in the country. And I'm very, very happy to be associated with Accra Metropolitan University by way of establishment and by way of leading the process from behind. And I think that for me is the biggest achievement.
Wow.
I was in the last 5 years the president of the African Council for Distance Education, which is headquartered in Kenya.
Okay.
I think I took over the mantle in 2022 and I held it for 3 years and handed over in April 2024. I also became the chair of the African Network for Internationalization of Education. A position that I still hold, by the way. I also did some work with the African Union Continental Education Strategy for Africa, the subcluster on open and distance learning. I coordinated it until last year when the Education Strategy for Africa was reviewed. I became one of the 8 members that the President of Ghana, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, set up for the National Education Forum. So I was a member of the National Education Forum this year. I think somewhere in February or March. We just finished our work and handed over our report, and somehow we've been told that we are likely to continue with the work in seeing to the implementation of the report that we submitted. In addition to that, I have become also the chairperson of the University Council of the University of Mines and Technology, UMAT, Takwa. I continue to contribute to a number of international conferences. I just returned from Cairo, where I was a speaker at the African Health ESCON. And this is the biggest, I would say, the biggest health conference and exhibition that we have in Africa. It is now co-hosted by the government of Egypt and also the Africa CDC. And I have been invited since the inception 4 years ago. Every year, the committee invites me to speak. And I'm very happy to be associated with the Africa Health ESCON. I would be speaking next week also at another international conference in Morocco. And so I get to be invited around the world to speak on matters of education, you know, equity, quality, access, policy. And I also contribute quite often to the University World News because they normally reach out to me to comment on various topical issues that affect education and in particular higher education around the world.
Now, Prof, before you proceed, if anyone had ever told your younger self that you would sit and lead when it comes to high-level forums like this, take leadership roles in academia, would you have believed it?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes. I mean, and that is one thing that I thank my parents for. I thank my father for very much. Irrespective of where I grew up and how checkered my background was, my father and my grandparents always made me feel that I was special. I knew since I became aware of myself that I wasn't ordinary. I was special. I had a specific assignment on earth. And I think that I lived with that notion since I was small. So even if I'm playing with people, whatever I'm doing, I always had at the back of my mind that I was special, I was unique, I have an assignment on earth. So I grew up knowing that I was going to be doing things like that. As I told you, my father gave me a profile of Margaret Thatcher. And since 9 years, you can imagine, on the day I got married, you know, normally your parents would give you a parting gift. And my siblings, my father gave them very good parting gifts, including money. He gave them some books as well, but my parting gift was not money. My father gave me a book entitled Jackie Kennedy Onassis. And this was a biography of Jackie Kennedy Onassis. Now, you know Jackie Kennedy was the wife of President Kennedy, John Kennedy. So you can imagine, if you throw back, when I was 9, my father gave me a book or a profile on Margaret Thatcher. When I got married, the only gift my father gave me, which is signed on, was a book entitled Jackie Kennedy Onassis.
Clearly, your dad knew where you could get to.
Yeah. And it tells me that as parents, we kind of shape the destinies of our children. And we build them to be what they are supposed to be and who they are supposed to be.
Oh, fantastic. Now, Prof, listening to you earlier when you were going through the number of appointments you've had in the past 5 years, the international forums you've been to, all I could think of was, how does she manage? it sounds like it's a lot. How do you manage? How do you strike a balance between all of those responsibilities, with you being a wife, a mother, you belonging to a fellowship? I mean, in life in general, how do you manage?
Well, I think that I have to be very thankful to God for giving me a supportive and understanding family. That, I think, is the foundation of most of the things I've been able to do. My husband, he supports me a lot. And my children are very understanding and also supportive. Of course, there are times that we have our little fights here and there. I recall that sometimes my children would take my laptop and hide. They will hide my laptop, and it is a plan between themselves and their father. So I would come looking for my laptop and I can't find, and I go, I'm everywhere, and I just want to have my laptop. But that is to tell me that they want their mother. They want attention. They want, So yes, there are times that we need to find a fine balance between having time, quality time with the family, and then also focusing on the things that take our attention, like our career, our profession, and all of that. But they've been very understanding. For me, it's more about quality relationships. And in the space, in my workspace, I have had pillars that had supported me. Without them, I couldn't have done it. One of them is Dr. Munkaila Abdullahi. I've worked with, and I still work with, I've had Dr. Michael Kubi, I have Mr. Hansen, I have a number of them, quite a number of them. They understand me, and they help me to do the things that we collectively do to achieve the results that we achieve. If you leave me alone, I'm nothing. I can't do any of those things. And so I thank God for giving me people who love me, who understand me, and who cooperate with me to do the things that I'm called to do.
Fantastic. Prof, earlier you did mention Lawe University, now Accra Metropolitan University. We understand that you are the co-founder of the institutions and of the institution. I'm interested in knowing some of the challenges you encountered through the establishment process and how you overcame them.
So firstly, I think that charting a new path, being a trailblazer, always comes with a lot of challenges because that was the first accredited open university in Ghana and the second in West Africa. And at the time, the accreditation or regulatory ecosystem was not very familiar with that new terrain. So we needed to work with them to understand what we wanted to do. So that was for me one of the biggest hurdles. I think the second thing is mobilizing the needed resources to make any entrepreneurial idea happen or flourish. Firstly, you need money. Secondly, you need people. But if you ask me, getting the right people is the number one.
Yeah.
And then getting the money would be the number two. Because having the right people for me is number one. And then being able to mobilize the funds is number two. Then all the other resources can fall in place.
Okay.
Because when you have the right people, you can fashion out how to mobilize the resources. And I think this has been the most difficult, aspect of being an entrepreneur, a social entrepreneur. I must pay tribute to one man who is late. His name is General Odikoven, Olin Odikoven. He was an American Army general that I happened to encounter at a conference, the ACBSP conference in the US. He became like a mentor and a friend. And so when we were establishing the Lower Open University in the initial stages, I consulted him and I told him that we needed partnerships. So he recommended me to Maastricht University and to Franklin University. Maastricht in Holland and Franklin University in the US. They gave us a lot of support. They did sign MOUs with us, but that with Maastricht could not take off. However, Franklin University gave us so much support. They came severally to train our members and took some of our members. We sent some of our members to them in the US to train. And so, yes, we couldn't have done it without Franklin University and the leadership of Franklin University at the time. So I like to say a very big thank you to Franklin University, but to pay special tribute to General Olin Odikoven of Peregrine Academic Services.
May his
So
soul
you
continue
see,
to rest
having
in
the
peace.
right network is very important. I also would like to use the opportunity to thank my PhD supervisor, who became my friend and is still my friend and mentor, Professor Tetsan. Professor Tetsan is a pillar for me. Anytime I'm at, I'm in a dilemma, I just go to him and I talk to him and he gives me ideas about what to do, and he also supports me a lot, you know, a lot in managing Accra Metropolitan University. So I like to really say a big thank you to Professor Ted Sun in the US. Yes, so really these are key people. Here in Ghana, I have another mastermind, and that mastermind is Professor Omani Entry.
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
You know, from my leadership lessons, I normally would encourage my students that they should always, on a personal leadership level, have a mastermind group. Somebody they run to when they have relationship issues, when they have professional issues, when, you know, they have whatever, career issues, leadership issues, financial issues you want to discuss. You must have people. They may not know.
Yeah.
And all these people that I talk about, they know they are my friends, but they don't know they are part of my mastermind group. So every year, I review my mastermind group. And there are some key people who are almost always there. So Professor Omani Entry, I want you to know that you are a key member of my mastermind group. And anytime I have, you know, I want to have some insights into academic or higher education, management and leadership issues, I just call him and then he shares his thoughts with me. So I say thank you to him too. So yeah, this is how we've gone about it.
Thank you, Prof.
But let me take this opportunity to say that Accra Metropolitan University is a university with a difference. And our focus is to make sure that we reflect what a metropolitan university can do to make our presence felt not only in the city of Accra, but in urban areas for people who are very, very busy and they want to combine work and education. We are there for them because we know the demands of urban environments, and that is why Accra Metropolitan University provides flexibility, unmatched, unparalleled flexibility in education that comes with top-notch quality. At the moment, we are rolling out new programs. Our PhD programs in leadership and sustainable governance has just been accredited. We also have PhD in finance and accounting. We now have also accredited MSc in energy management and policy. We have MSc sustainable development. We have MSc security and intelligence, MSc cybersecurity and data forensics, amongst many others that we are just rolling out. We also starting our law programs and also B.Ed programs, and we want to do this with distinction in a way that aligns not only with the sustainable development goals, but also with the Africa Agenda 2063 and also with the new Continental Education Strategy for Africa 2030. And so we use this opportunity to invite all, whether you're in Ghana or you're outside of Ghana, please know that Accra Metropolitan University is there for busy people. We understand their needs and we tailor the programs to suit their needs.
Thank you very much, Prof. And just to wrap up, 5 years ago on the same platform, you were asked if you had reached your apex. And your response was a strong no. We are back after 5 years with the same question. Have you reached your apex?
It's a resounding no.
Wow. It is.
Mhm.
When do you think you would reach your apex?
When Accra Metropolitan University has become entrenched not only in Africa but globally, and it is touching lives all over the world, and we have been able to touch the lives of thousands and thousands of people, and I see the products, the graduates of Accra Metropolitan University making impact in their communities and around the globe.
Thank you so much for talking to us. It was really an honor to have this conversation with you. And this is Impact Stories. We've heard the story of Professor Goski Alabi, a woman who has defined all odds. And it was very good having Professor on this show. Until next time, this is it for Impact Stories, and it's a wrap.